Most B2B businesses don't believe that Black Friday is actually going to work for them. However, on average, our clients get the minimum of a full month's worth of revenue within that single day. But there's ways and tactics to do this correctly so that you're acquiring new customers, not destroying your margin, and actually making a profitable Black Friday. There are 3 things that we're going to cover within this video, and it is a bit of a meaty one, so make sure that you have a notepad and pen next to you. First, we're going to look at your offer. Without this, none of it will work. Then we'll look at your website and how to actually get those visitors to convert into paying customers. Third, we're going to look at that secret sauce on exactly how to make this work for your business. Now, the main thing with the offer is that no amount of website tactics, marketing efforts, or little conversion hacks are actually going to work if you have a bad offer. So this is the first thing that we need to perfect before we move into anything that we do for Black Friday. Now, what a lot of people do is they will essentially treat Black Friday like it's a clearance sale. So anything that they haven't been able to sell in the summer up until now, they'll put a discount on it to try and get rid of it. For Black Friday, this is not what you want to do. So when it comes to your offer, make sure that you are having a percentage across all of your products, including your best sellers, and put the best sellers at the front of the sale. The next thing that we need to do is increase that urgency. So typically Black Friday, as you all know, no longer starts on Black Friday. It can start the week before, the Monday before, and it usually extends over to Cyber Monday. Something we found that works really well is to create urgency at the beginning of the sale. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the max discount at the beginning of your Black Friday sale and reduce it over time until the end. You're going to inform your customers that this is exactly how your Black Friday sale is going to operate. This will mean that by every day that they don't make a decision, the discount gets discounted. So for example, you could start off with a 20% discount at the beginning, and at the end it's 5% discount. So at what point does your customer decide, okay, I really need to press the button now, otherwise none of this Black Friday sale is going to matter? Along with your main offer, which is essentially the discount on products, you're going to add a mini offer that is challenge based or quiz based. And the reason for this is that there's going to be a lot of first time customers when it comes to your Black Friday sale, or there should be if you do step number 3 in this video. When we have first time customers, there's a few things that we need to juggle. One is the lifetime value of the client, which is essentially how much can we discount off this and still make profit because that client's lifetime value is higher than what we're actually giving in the discount. People are more willing to give information for bigger discounts than they would normally be if you just ask them in a form. And what this allows us to do is that beyond Black Friday, we can then remarket to them with the most relevant information. For example, if I was a diagnostic business and I also wanted to introduce ADAS products into my business, I would ask ADAS specific questions for people that bought an Autel, for example. That would be either an upsell, like whether or not they would like the ADAS license, whether they had an ADAS kit, what ADAS kit they had, and what type of boards would they need. That will then allow me in an email in the future to create remarketing campaigns that will allow me to get back that investment that I originally had during Black Friday. So that's our offer done. The next thing we're going to move into is our website as well as that secret sauce. Now, everything that we speak about next, we can help you with in our Madre V8 strategy session. We run through everything when it comes to your marketing plan, the content that you need to create, the customers you need to target, their journey. So if you're looking to generate revenue through social media as well as during your Black Friday campaign, we have limited spots available for a V8 strategy session that will run through all of that. You can check a link in the description to book a discovery call with me. It'll be 15 minutes and you can see whether or not it's suited to you. Okay, let's jump into the website section, because there's no point in doing all of this to your offer, doing all of this throughout your marketing, then just to look at the website and realize it doesn't convert anybody. It's a waste of time, and it means that all of the resources you put towards Black Friday are effectively dead. So we need to get this right. First thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to create the Black Friday website for Black Friday. This may take a bit of resource, but the ROI will be worth it in the end. So the first thing that we want to do is reduce the navigation of our website. So rather than have all of the options at the top of the screen, we want to reduce it down to the main bulk of the sale. So whether that is aftermarket, whether that is OE, whatever the categories that you would typically have, just have them as the navigation. This is going to reduce the kind of decision fatigue that a customer has on your website and take them straight to where you want them to convert. The next thing we're going to do is underneath that navigation, we're going to have a code, and that's going to be your Black Friday sale code. So it could be Friday 25 or however much you've discounted. The reason that we use a code rather than reducing the prices on the website is kind of a tactic. So imagine now that you add something to your basket, you go into the basket, you see the full price, and then you put in a code and you see that discount. That kind of dopamine or that realization of what that discount is in real time is much better than something that's already discounted. Once we have that code, that's going to follow them around that shop and then make sure that in any asset that code is visible. So I would update the pictures on your website to have the code up on it. If there's any banners on the website, make sure that it has the code. A lot of people will essentially just say Black Friday sale on now and never actually show what that code is. So obviously you're going to have less conversions if people don't obviously know how to do it. And that brings me on to my next point. So with any offer or any discount or anything conversion wise, sometimes we have to be as plain as possible. So I'm pretty sure that you've had a customer that's phoned up, asked you a question, and you're thinking, that's literally on the website. And it makes you go a bit insane because you wonder, I actually said that and they're still not understanding. So we need to make out as if our customers are aliens that have not seen the previous message. So make sure that your offer is impossible to misunderstand, which brings us on to the placement of your hero products. So as I mentioned in the offer section, we don't want this to be a clearance sale. We actually do want your best sellers up front and center. There are a few reasons for this. First off, it's going to help us with conversions. Second, if something's a clearance sale on Black Friday, you erode the trust with your customers that you previously had. They think that you're just trying to sell this hat, and because of that, you're not going to get as many conversions. Second, we don't have the data to prove that the things in the clearance sale actually need or want to be cleared by your customers. In order to get the bestseller data, make sure that you go back a few years, see what actually sells in November, see what your general bestsellers are, and make sure that they're front and center on the website. So on this homepage, we have our clear navigation, we have our code that sticks to the top, then we're going to have the actual products that we are selling, the best sellers with the code on the front of the homepage. If you're using a challenge-based offer that we also spoke about, you're going to make sure that that is clearly visible. So typically you'd want that in the bottom left of the screen, whether that's the quiz that they need to take or whether that's a kind of spin the wheel. You'll also, if that's your leading offer, want that in the discount code. So take this quiz to get the discount code. Once those tactics are in place, you need to actually then test the buyer journey. Make sure that you get some test subjects, whether they're your ideal customers or whether that's your auntie that doesn't really know how to use a computer, and have them test that journey. Survey them, check what the offer was. Is that correct in their language, how you would like it to be perceived? What discount can you get? Was it easy to get the discount code? Was it easy to see how much discount you actually had? And finally, could they check out with ease? What you don't want is problems on the day that are being reported by customers that you cannot fix. So make sure well ahead of schedule you have tested that buyer journey. Once we have all of those tactics on the website, you're going to be well ahead of the majority of B2B businesses, especially in the aftermarket. Now let's get on to the secret sauce. So this is the actual marketing that we're going to put around this Black Friday sale for it to actually work and land customers. So when it comes to your marketing, there's going to be two main channels that are going to drive the majority of interest for your Black Friday marketing campaign. Now, the first one is email. And as I mentioned, email is going to be part of the remarketing that we do, but it's equally going to be part of the marketing that we do ahead of the Black Friday sale. So ideally, you'd want to schedule these emails at least a month before to let all of your customers know that the Black Friday sale is happening and the mechanics. So you're going to let them know that it starts off higher and ends up going lower as the sale goes on. This will allow them to take a mental note to get in early. Ideally as well, if you have limited stock, you want to make this clear. If you only have 5 of a best-selling item for this sale, say that you only have 5. As the sale draws nearer, you're going to up the frequency. Then as the sale goes on, we're going to have daily emails explaining what the discount is now and what the discount will be tomorrow in monetary value. So if something is £100 today, but it goes up to £110 tomorrow, make sure you put that clear in the email, ideally on your best sellers. If you wanted to get very technical and you already had a CRM set up, like the V8 CRM, which you can book a demo for in the link below, you'd want to segment your audience based on the products that are most relevant to them. So for example, if we go back to that ADAS form and we already have interest in ADAS products, that's what we're going to show the discounts on. However, if we have the interest in multi-brand diagnostic tools, for example, then we'd want to send out that email. This allows you to convert at a much higher scale because you're placing personalization and relevance in front of that customer at that time. So that's the email sequence that you're going to set up before the campaign and during the campaign. As we mentioned in the offer, you would then use that to remarket them in future. The second channel is going to be, of course, your socials. Now, socials is going to be for both your existing customers, like your email, as well as new customers. And there's a nuance to creating good social content. So I already have a video on exactly how to create a high-performing post, which you can check out here. But the thing that I want to talk about today when it comes to your social media profiles is first, we need daily posting. Make sure in the same way that you have the emails telling them exactly what that sale is, you're going to do that on socials. And this can be once a day or multiple times a day. If we're doing multiple times a day, we want to first have a post about the sale, what the discount is for the day, and then what it will be tomorrow. And then we also want to go into specific products. So these are posts around the specific products, talking about the pain that they solve. So first go into the pain that the customer is currently facing and how that tool solves it. And then in the comments, you're going to put a link to the sale. Or ideally, if you have the V8 CRM, you would have them comment for that specific product and then you'd send them the link directly, which will allow your sales guys follow up within 24 hours. And that's exactly how you're going to capture that revenue right there and then. Most of it happens in the DMs. Next, you're going to create short form video. And short form video should be a priority because this is going to get you the most instant reach off the bat. When it comes to short form, what you don't want to do during Black Friday is something that doesn't follow a format that typically gets reach. So for Black Friday campaigns, for example, this video here, we started out with a box being thrown at the person. And this is because this was a viral hook. Now, there's a website that actually gives you viral hooks, which I'll link in the description below, where you can essentially scroll through and see what those hooks are and implement them inside your reels. So what we're effectively trying to do here is stop the scroll instantly with a hook that we already know is proven, and then that's going to give us that leg up to actually then mention the sale. Now, one thing I also want to mention about short form is that you want to explain the entirety of the sale. It's not the same as, for example, a post that has the date on clearly. So when it comes to a reel, make sure that you explain, maybe in sticky notes like we did here, where you're saying exactly how the sale works over time. That will create the urgency, and then I would update all of your bios on social to include this Black Friday campaign. So whether that's added it to your link tree or it be in the main CTA on all of your profiles, which ideally it would be, you want to make sure that you have a link in your bio. Ideally, you would want to set up UTM tracking for each of these, but that could be a bit more complex, and I have a full video on organic measurement right here. Once we have our main post, reels, and link all set up, the next thing that we want to do is increase the frequency of the posting as the sale goes on. And we also want to have an alternative view than just the fact that the offer is going to go up and then down. When it comes to the offer, it's best again to move on to the pain points of what the actual products solve and then mention the offer. So hopefully now on your notepad and pen, you've got exactly how to set up your offer, you've got exactly how to get people to convert on the website and how to get them on the website in the first place. But Black Friday isn't the only time that you should be doing this. You should be utilizing social media year long in order to get revenue for your B2B business. And we have exactly the video on how to do that with a free workbook that is literally the strategy we go through in our V8 strategy session. So if you would like to watch that video, it's on the screen now.